Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
ADHD, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, man, you can get a lot of stuff done or nothing done all at once. It's great.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a curse and a blessing in my life, all right? So there you go. Napolis, you were saying something? It's also a great excuse for when people go, did you listen to any of that? And I go, yeah. You know I have problems listening, don't you? See, this is something my teachers always talked about, too. They're all, hey, man, what's going on in your head right now? A lot, but not a lot. It's hard to explain. All right? What was the Homer Simpson? They, took a picture into his brain, and there's that monkey on the bike. That's a little bit me.
Smashing the cymbals.
Hitting the cymbals together? Yeah, that's me. Why not? All right, listen. We got lots going on in the program today. First of all, shortened show, so this final segment of the day is going to take you all the way down to Jazz pregame. And we'll get into that a little bit at the end of the segment as well. We'll have the final availability report for everybody on the team as well tonight. But, yeah, it's an interesting time for the Jazz because it's like you're in a weird moment where people are like, anyway, gosh, you guys are doing pretty good. Stop it or keep going. I don't know what to say. I mean, here's the good news. Or bad news, depending on how you look at it. The Jazz could easily come out of tonight 8-13 on the year because they're playing the dadgum Nets, who are actually doing a better job of losing games than they are. So
yeah, they're really good at tanking.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes as the Jazz are on the road taking on the Brooklyn Nets this evening. So we'll see how that one goes. In the meantime, let's kick off the hour here as we always do. Kick it off at the cut, get jumping in right here, and we got lots to get to.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the program. An incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi in the Doug Smith locations in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. And any of our discussion of the Texas Tech BYU matchup, of course, in the Big 12 Championship game is brought to you by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. And that happens to be exactly what you're getting with these two teams, JJ, is quality, a lot of it on both sides of the football. And both teams honored in the Big 12 awards today. And Joey McGuire could have easily been the coach of the year in the conference. Kalani Sitake ended up winning it. Bear Bachmeier is the freshman the freshman offensive player of the year. And with good reason, he won the Freshman of the Week honors 7 of the 13 weeks that they gave that award out. That's pretty darn good. And this is two teams who – Texas Tech, by the way, if you look at that defense, the Texas Tech is across the first and second team of the Big 12 more than any other team. And for good reason. There's a reason that they're in first place. There's a reason that they have won all these games and that they had a bad loss on the year against Arizona State. I say a bad loss because – they didn't have their starting quarterback. Their backup quarterback was even a little bit banged up that game. They definitely were not themselves, and ASU got them at their place in Tempe. And so Texas Tech is a tough out, and it's never going to be an easy game for these two when these two teams match up. I just have a hard time. I know that these guys are paid a lot of money, and even more money now. So, but how do you solve this Texas Tech issue when they didn't just they're not just better numbers-wise on the offensive and defensive side of the football. They also have this psychological advantage over you, which was this, hey, there was nothing you could do against us. We had kind of a bad offensive day, and we still beat you by 22 points. Out of the times they went to the red zone, they had 5 field goals. They had 5 field goals on the day, JJ.
Yeah.
And because, you convert half of those to touchdowns, we're talking about a game in the 40s to the single digits for BYU, or against BYU. So this is a really, really good team. I don't know how you overcome the mental side of trying to get past the fact that those guys beat you up the first time around that you played them?
I think that the BYU players felt like that was their worst performance of the year. And you could tell after the game, because I remember Chase Roberts and said it with a lot of conviction that he wanted to play him again. And next time he's going to beat him. I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quote. We might have it in the system somewhere. But Chase Roberts wanted this moment, and he's ready for it. This team's going to be ready for it. They've had time to prepare for this. I think everybody knew that this is probably where it was tracking. And you've already played them once, so you've already done a lot of that work of preparation because you've seen them before. I guess the question that everyone's asking is, why is this going to be different this time around? And it may not be, because Texas Tech's that good. And like you said, Texas Tech left a lot of points on the field that day. A lot of field goals, 29 points. That's a weird final score, right? 29-7. Because they kicked a lot of field goals.
15 of those points were just field goals. Yeah.
Right. They only scored 2 touchdowns. On the flip side of that, Texas Tech only scored 2 touchdowns against BYU.
I can see that, yeah.
So, number one, BYU's defense has to play their best game of the year. Now, they played pretty good at Texas Tech, and 29 points should be enough for you to win a game if your defense holds them to that, especially on the road. I think they have to. Can BYU's defense be a little bit better than that? I think so, because a lot of those points were scored on short fields. And BYU gave Texas Tech a lot of possessions, more so than they'd normally get, because BYU didn't take very good care of the football at times and didn't move the ball on offense. Short possessions, 3 and outs. BYU needs to sustain drives. They've got to have the ball for 6 minutes at a chunk and keep that Texas Tech offense off the field, and that's how you reduce the amount of points that they score. Obviously, that goes without saying. The turnover battle goes without saying. It's how they execute this is going to be the question. And I think they learned a lot from that game. And Hans has talked about it when we did the roundtable on Tuesday. He talked about this, is they were max protect for Bear Bachmeier. You can't go max protect against Texas Tech. You got to play straight up one-on-one on the offensive line and live with the results. You've got to turn Bear Bachmeier loose. The one team that has had success against Texas Tech this year was when Sam Leavitt was healthy enough for Arizona State. He threw for over 300 yards. Bears got to throw for over 300 yards. He only threw for 188 in the first meeting. 23 of 38, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Those numbers won't do it against Texas Tech. It's got to be closer to 300.
Well, and I think it's important to point out, too, that it's about the circumstances with those passes happening. Like BYU at some point and Bear Bachmeier at some point, trying to throw your way back into a game is always a tough spot to be in. It's about the getting out. I think getting ahead of it and throwing the football early.
Right.
That's kind of where most people are going with this. When they start talking about how do you break this game down and how you get used to this thing, or how you turn this a bit of a different direction of what you saw the first time around with these two teams. And it's an interesting way to kind of go at it. Kalani Sitake, during their media availability that wasn't talking about his new contract extension, talked about Texas Tech as a team and what he saw from them the first go-around and what he saw from them all this season.
I'm really impressed with their team. Just not just the way that they play the game. Obviously, we went out there and played in the game in Lubbock. Great atmosphere, great environment. Not too friendly for us, but it was a really cool experience. And we did not show up at our best. A lot of that had to do with Texas Tech. Texas Tech's a complete team with a great coach, great coaching staff, and all 3 phases they played amazing football. I think they're the best team in the country.
They're pretty good. I don't know about best team in the country, but I mean, why not?
Well, they might be.
This is why
they're going to get a chance to prove it.
If you're top 4 and you're in that conversation, you could definitely be.
Why not?
Yeah,
this is not a year where there's this juggernaut number 1.
Yeah, and in a year where they're crowning the SEC with all this love before a lot of stuff has happened, calling Texas Tech the best team in the country is not a crazy thought compared to with the stuff that we get from some of these other pundits.
I'd put money
on
on Tech to beat Georgia or Alabama. I'd do that. No problem. No hesitation.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I guess JJ's got a bookie. I'd put money on those games. He's all. Anybody interested? You know where to find me.
It's a stone cold lock.
Here's Kalani talking about BYU and Texas Tech and how they came to play one another this second time around.
In fact, after the game, if you want to talk about manifesting, go back to our dinner. When Joey and I had dinner, we talked about this. Joey, you remember that we talked about playing each other in the championship game. We manifested it, and now here we are. It's amazing that I get to do it against a great person and a great friend. After the game, we're shaking hands. Half of the players were saying, we'll see you guys in a few weeks. They basically respected us enough to know that we're going to get back at this game.
How many dates do you think they've been on? When did they first kiss, do you think? What date was that on? Jeez. The love between these two guys.
Do the Sitakis and McGuire spend each weekend together?
It makes it sound like it, right? You know why this is true love with these two guys? Because that's an Adidas school, and Kalani's a Nike guy. Normally he's like, I get to interact with those coaches quite often, and we're friends. And you're like, yeah, right, you're at the Nike meetings. McGuire's not at the Nike meetings, right? They're FaceTiming each other from the golf course. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. I do think there's a ton of respect between these two programs because there's the idea of, hey, we can do something special with this conference, but you can't be mamby-pamby about it. You can't not win games. ASU was a great story last year. It ended after one game.
Yeah.
And even though that game was kind of close, it was kind of fun in the second half.
Yeah, they were a disaster in the first half.
I'm telling you. Well, and you see how the game ended. Remember how it ended too.
Yeah, that was
an awful
horrible
play call to end things, and you went.
Dillingham owned it. He knows.
They were on look. This other team was ready, and we were not. That was essentially what it was. And I think that the Big 12 has a moment here, and if somehow by a miracle they're able to get two teams into the college football playoff, and they could get one or two wins. Like, that would be a different level that the Big 12 has ever been on.
Do you know who's cheering for the Cougars on Saturday? Brett Yormark.
I thought you were going to say the Utah Utes.
No. They will not be.
No, but Brett Yormark, I don't think he's done a good enough job of pimping the
He finally woke up.
Yeah, it's late, though. He should have been talking like this.
Out of the gate, he should have been talking.
But see, for a guy who, and maybe it's because
it's your conference. It's your
job.
job.
But every time he makes a statement, and you guys have heard it too, he sounds like he's reading it because he's reading it.
It sounds like a canned TED Talk type thing.
And the thing is that he actually has.
He has to have lasers every time he talks.
I know, and he's got to be like, this day and age, the Big 12 has performed with strong. This is a strong conference. Like, it's all like, it just sounds like a bad propaganda speech.
It feels like he's reading off a teleprompter.
And he is. He really is. And so I think that he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, over the past week and a half, Brian Santiago now getting in front of everybody and saying all that they can about where this team should and shouldn't be, and where the Big 12 should and should not be, and how the College Football Playoff Committee has continued to disrespect teams like BYU and even Texas Tech, frankly, where they're like, well, if Texas Tech loses, I mean, they're out too. It's like, why? Here's what Brian Santiago, the athletic director for BYU, said on DJ and PK's program today about this very subject.
Yeah, it's super disappointing. It's actually disheartening, and it's disrespectful to our program. It's disrespectful to the Big 12. The fact that we're 11-1, our strength of record, our only loss is to a top 4 team, is just the fact that we're being disrespected the way we are is not right. The one thing that I will say is Brett Yormark's all the way in for championing this conference. And in the right circles, this dude is busting down doors. Everybody in the country knows this is a bias. You cannot explain it any way else. What Kalani and this team's done, 11-1, the teams that we've beaten in the top 25, the teams we've beaten on the road, our only loss to a team that's the top 4 right now, and when we played them, probably 3 or 4 of our best players are barely on the field. L.J. Martin probably shouldn't have even played in the game. The thing that I'm excited about, though, guys, unbelievable opportunity Saturday. We control our own destiny. Our guys are healthy. Our team's ready to go. And we get another shot to go play Texas Tech on a neutral field for the championship. And I know our guys will be ready. But you can't explain it any way else. You guys have heard, and you guys are in the middle of it. You understand that you put blind resumes up there. There's no other explanation other than bias.
Here's the thing,
He's right.
Here's what actually would happen if a straightforward conversation and a truthful conversation and a truthful breakdown of where BYU should be in that college football playoff ranking were to happen. What I hate about this is you've weaponized teams like Texas and Miami who have no business having a conversation about whether or not they should be in this thing, but because no one's talking about BYU, then these guys sneak in the back door and go, "Hey man, I told you we played Ohio State." I think that speaks for itself. And you're like, that does not speak for itself. And so I think part of the issue, and we were listening to this before the show too. Well, I was listening to Mario Cristobal, the head coach of Miami, and he goes, "Look, what this really comes down to is us and Notre Dame." And they had up on the screen the rankings, and it was Miami 13 or Miami 12, BYU 11, Notre Dame 10. And he's like, this comes down to this comes down to us and Notre Dame. And obviously we won the head-to-head matchup, and everyone's like, you're ignoring this team that is right in front of you that has to play in a conference championship game. You get to sit back and do nothing this week as you watch Duke maybe win an ACC title that you were not able to qualify your team for.
Please make that happen.
Just to make it more embarrassing.
Yes.
So I think it weaponizes teams when you don't respect the process. I think it also gives the opportunity for other teams who have no business fighting for themselves because they have no problem being vocal about it. And you have these like sheepish like guys in the Big 12 who thought that the play on the field was going to do the talking, and it's unfortunate that it has to be a little bit more. All right, Jazz and Nets tonight. How does this thing get worked out, JJ? How do the Jazz win this basketball game tonight?
It's not that hard. This is the Nets. I think that they have a good shot, actually. I think the Jazz actually have a better roster. I think the Jazz, even with the injury report we have right here right now, I think they've got a great shot to win. It would not surprise me at all if they win tonight. I don't think they're going to win tomorrow against the Knicks. But for now, I think the Jazz get a win tonight in Brooklyn.
Get a win in Brooklyn. They got to play again tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. Take
Jazz
on the
looked
Knicks
good
there.
against the Rockets the other night.
They looked really good. That second game was crazy that they took on themselves this idea.
One of the best teams in the league.
We look like and to bounce back and say, hey, you know what? We look like crap. And to Keontae George's point, like he brought it right out and he said we knew we had to be something different that second game, and they were. And I've been as impressed with that bounce back as anything else. All right, we'll take a break here. Jazz versus Nets coming up next. Visit Kenny J's Barbecue in the District in South Jordan. Mouth-watering ribs, savory brisket, and all your barbecue favorites. It's
Yum.
Kenny J's. KennyJ'sBBQ.com. We'll walk out here, get you ready for Jazz basketball right now. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.